Have you ever looked around your apartment and thought, I wish I had just a little more green in here? Something calming, something alive, something that reminds you each day that growth and beauty don't require a big yard or fancy tools. In our senior years, it's often the small things that bring the greatest joy. And gardening indoors can become one of those quiet pleasures that lifts your spirit, brightens your space, and even helps you feel more connected to the rhythm of life. Indoor gardening isn't just about keeping busy. It's about nurturing something, watching a seed turn into a sprout, and then into a beautiful little piece of nature right there on your windowsill. That simple act of tending to a plant can bring surprising peace. You don't need to be an expert, and you certainly don't need a sprawling garden. What you do need is a bit of curiosity, a touch of patience, and a spot near the sunlight. Let's talk about where to begin. One of the easiest and most satisfying ways to start is with herbs. Not only are they simple to grow in small containers, but they also give back in a big way. Imagine plucking fresh basil for your soup or snipping some mint leaves for your tea. It's practical and personal at the same time. All it takes is a small pot, some potting soil and seeds, or even starter plants, which can be found at almost any grocery store or nursery. If you've got a sunny windowsill, especially one that gets 4 to 6 hours of light, you've already got the perfect spot. You can even rotate pots around your apartment if you don't have that one perfect window. Plants don't mind a little variety now and then. Another wonderful indoor gardening project is growing leafy greens. Yes, you can grow salad greens in your kitchen, and you don't even need a balcony to do it. Many types of lettuce, such as butterhead or romaine, can thrive indoors. You'll be amazed at how satisfying it feels to harvest your own greens from a container you've cared for. These don't require deep soil or fancy lights, just a wide, shallow container and consistent moisture. You don't have to bend down or dig around. Everything is right there at your fingertips. Now, I know that space can be a challenge in apartment living. That's where creativity comes in. Wall-mounted planters, hanging baskets, and tiered shelves can turn an empty corner into a vibrant little oasis. Vertical space is your secret weapon. And don't worry if your thumb isn't exactly green yet. Plants are more forgiving than we often give them credit for. They'll let you know what they need if you're paying attention. Leaves might droop if they're thirsty, or turn pale if they need more light. And if something doesn't work out, that's all part of the learning process. There's also something beautiful about experimenting with propagation. If you've got a friend with a healthy spider plant or a pot hose, just ask for a cutting. Stick it in water and watch his roots begin to grow. Before you know it, you've got a new plant, all from a little gesture and a glass of water. It's cost-effective, and there's something deeply rewarding about bringing new life into your space using nothing more than patience and care. Starting small is key. A single pot on the windowsill, a tray of greens on the counter, a cluster of herbs in the corner of your kitchen. You don't need to fill the entire room with plants to enjoy the benefits. One well-tended green companion can shift the mood of your entire home. And it's not just about what the plants do for your space, it's about what they do for you. They give you something to look forward to. A quiet moment each day to check in, to water, to prune, to observe. It becomes a kind of gentle ritual. As we continue, we'll look at some creative ways to make the most of small indoor spaces, even if you don't have great light or much experience with plants. There are all kinds of clever indoor gardening ideas just waiting to be explored. One of the joys of indoor gardening later in life is discovering just how versatile your space can be when you start seeing it with new eyes. That shelf you once used for books might become a sanctuary for cascading ivy. That quiet corner near the kitchen, which never quite felt complete, could be transformed into a cozy plant nook with a single grow light and a bit of imagination. What's so encouraging about this kind of gardening is that it invites creativity. You're not just growing plants, you're redesigning your environment in small, joyful ways. For those who don't have much natural sunlight, there's no need to feel limited. Technology has made indoor gardening more accessible than ever before. LED grow lights are compact, energy efficient, and surprisingly affordable. They don't take up much space and can be attached under cabinets, above counters, or even clipped onto shelves. These little tools can make a big difference, opening the door to growing plants that would otherwise be tricky in dim corners. Suddenly, you're not restricted by window light. You can start building a green space wherever your heart desires. Hydroponic kits are another option that can be both fun and rewarding. These systems let you grow plants in water rather than soil, which means less mess and often faster growth. Many come in small countertop sizes and have built-in lights, making them perfect for herbs, cherry tomatoes, or even strawberries. Watching roots grow through the clear water containers becomes part of the experience, almost like having a little science experiment in your home that rewards you with fresh ingredients. If you enjoy crafting, there's even more room to make this journey your own. Upcycling everyday items into planters brings a whole new level of satisfaction. Old mugs, teapots, wooden boxes, or mason jars can become homes for your plants. With a bit of drainage added, almost anything can be turned into a container that brings personality to your greenery. It's a gentle reminder that gardening is not just about plants, it's about expression. The act of creating something from what you already have is powerful, especially when it fills your living space with life. There's also the soothing rhythm that comes from watering and tending your garden. It becomes a peaceful pause in the day, a moment to slow down and reconnect. Some people enjoy playing soft music while they care for their plants, letting the sound flow through the room as they check the soil, prune a few leaves, or rearrange their little garden display. It's not work, it's a kind of meditation that offers both purpose and calm. In those quiet moments, with your hands in the soil or your fingers brushing a leaf, you're not just gardening. You're nurturing a connection between yourself and the life around you. And for those who enjoy sharing, indoor gardening can become a beautiful way to stay connected with others. Swapping plant cuttings with neighbors or family creates new conversations. Posting pictures of your indoor blooms or harvest can spark joy in others and inspire someone else to start their own journey. It's incredible how something as simple as a thriving houseplant on your windowsill can brighten not only your day, but someone else's too. As we keep exploring this path, there are still more delightful and easy ways to bring nature indoors. Whether your apartment is large or small, filled with light or nestled in shade, there's always a way to bring in more green and keep the joy growing. As your indoor garden begins to take shape, it's not just your space that transforms, it's your daily experience. One of the often overlooked benefits of bringing plants into your home is the quiet sense of companionship they offer. There's something deeply comforting about waking up and seeing that little bit of life thriving because of your care. It reminds you day after day that growth is always possible, even in the smallest of places and in the simplest of ways. Another wonderful project to consider is starting a small indoor flower garden. While many people think flowers belong only outdoors, certain varieties do incredibly well inside and offer bursts of color that can instantly lift your mood. African violets, peace lilies, and begonias are just a few examples of blooms that adapt beautifully to indoor life. Their colors, textures, and unique personalities can brighten a dull day, and watching them flower again and again feels like a reward for your patience and attention. You might also explore the world of fragrant plants. Scents have a powerful way of evoking emotion and memory. A pot of lavender near your favorite chair or a rosemary plant by the stove can create a sensory experience that brings warmth and familiarity to your home. These aren't just decorations, they're daily reminders that nature is close at hand, even in a high-rise or a studio flat. Caring for indoor plants can also serve as a gentle motivator to keep moving and stay engaged with your surroundings. A short walk across the room to check on your garden becomes a reason to stretch, to breathe more deeply, to take notice of small changes. Maybe you notice new leaves unfurling or a fresh bud about to open. These tiny details, when observed with care, become little victories that keep the spirit engaged and uplifted. For those who like a bit of whimsy, adding decorative touches to your garden space can be its own kind of joy. Mini figurines, painted stones, or even handmade plant markers bring a personal touch to your indoor oasis. It's not about perfection or rules, it's about creating a space that feels like home in the truest sense. Something that reflects your personality, your rhythm, and your love for life. It's also perfectly fine if something doesn't work the first time. A plant may not thrive, a seed may not sprout, or a container might not be quite right. That's not a failure, it's just part of the journey. Gardening teaches patience, flexibility, and acceptance in the most gentle way. Each attempt brings new understanding, and each small success builds confidence for the next step. Before long, your indoor garden may become more than just a hobby. It might evolve into a place where you start your mornings or unwind at the end of the day. A place where the quiet hum of life continues around you. In those moments, you realize it's not about how much you grow, but how it makes you feel. That sense of purpose, of nurturing and tending, becomes something beautiful you carry with you, not just in your hands, but in your heart. So if you've ever thought your apartment was too small, too dark, or too limited for gardening, think again. With imagination and care, any space can bloom. And in your senior years, when calm, connection, and creativity matter more than ever, this simple act of growing something can bring lasting joy. Here's to tending your space, your spirit, and your sense of wonder, one pot, one sprout, and one quiet morning at a time.